So, last we left off, you guys were in the city of Alperin. A couple of you, mainly Demir and then everyone else joining her, had witnessed a mysterious figure in the street, apparently with the symbol of Oghma, the god of knowledge, run towards the closed sector of the city. And wave to the guards, and then apparently misty step inside. When speaking to the guards, you guys discovered that maybe if you're lucky, you can persuade some of the other leaders of the city to basically write you a letter of recommendation to let you into the closed quarter of the city. You guys spoke with Keeper of Balance, Amorvin Thurk, who is the representative of Tyr within the one section of the city. You spoke to Oracle of Eternity, Nimu Bell, who is the representative of Kilmvor. And then you spoke to High Harvest Master Rafin Najar, who is the representative of Shanti. You guys were all able to work together to persuade these different leaders of the city that you have information that might be helpful to try to solve whatever crisis is blocking off the sector of the city known as Myth Glade. Or at the very least, that you will be able to try to solve this global crisis that's going on. And so it's, I'd say it's probably around 11:30 in the morning still. And you have all 3 signatures. You are still in the sector of the city known as Everbloom. What would you like to do?
Balk personally has one more stop that she would like to do before we enter the Mithra sector.
Where do you want to go?
She also would like to talk to her other sugar daddy, Torm.
Okay. So you're going to go all the way down to the southern half of the city again?
Well, other people don't need to come with.
You would also need to be there to be let into the Mistra quarter of the city.
The main entrance to the Mistra quarters in the southern sector?
No. That you would need to be with the group to be able to be let in. Because the letter's for group, not for bulk. You would just be some rando like, hey, my friend's already in there.
Well, we can go with Valkyria on her chores, or we can dink around the city for a little bit.
Get some lunch.
Does it need to be done before we go in?
With the fickleness of magic, with the unraveling, we might not be returning to the rest of the city after we're done in the Mithra quarter.
Well, then, off you trot, I suppose.
Uncle.
Shall we get lunch?
Lunch might as well. Might be our only chance to do it.
I doubt there'll be anything to eat inside the Mithra sector if what we're hearing is Mistra sector, if anything we're hearing is true.
Well, we'll go find a restaurant, whatever kind of thing exists here.
Well, we're over here in the eastern sector, which seems to be devoted to farming in all of its forms.
Northern
Maybe
sector.
here would be the best place to find something.
The northern sector.
Oh, we're in the north. We're in the northern sector.
Mhm.
Oh, I thought north was the god of death.
Nope. That's
Okay.
east.
Okay, my bad.
It goes Shanti north, Kellamvor east, Mistra west, and then Tyr south.
I see. All right.
Yeah, we'll just troll around. Do we find anything that's just casual?
All right, let's see. So many notes, so little time. There is a place here with an Everbloom called Silverberry Fresh Produce and Lodging.
Sounds fine.
All right. Heading inside, you can see less of a tavern, more of a hostel where you can, as the name suggests, buy lots of fresh produce. Owned and operated by a halfling couple, Nora and Isabel Silverberry, and they have 5 children that are helping. But you can buy vegetables here and fruit.
We'll get some food.
Tobias will buy some fresh fruit.
All right.
Yeah,
what
we
kind of
can
fruit
pick
are
up
you
a little,
interested in?
like,
They have lots of apples and oranges.
Fuck yeah, I'm gonna buy an apple for lunch.
Cool. That would be a copper piece.
Fog.
I'm gonna invite some mischief here. Hawk, maskless, and pendant transformed is gonna look over the fruit selection and sort of just like ponder before turning to the nearest group member of the group, going, "I'm not really sure. What should I try?"
DM, are there lemons?
There are lemons.
Same
Tobias
brain
is
cell.
like-
Let's go.
Tobias looking all the innocent and just like genuine. Oh, you want to try something? He goes, you should try that one. And he points to a lemon.
Oh, sure. All right. Hawk's going to how much though for the lemon?
Copper piece.
Copper piece, cool. I hope he can make change for a silver.
Yeah, they can absolutely.
Okay,
make
perfect.
change.
He's gonna like sort of hang on. Part of me wants to roll an intelligence check to determine whether or not he just takes a bite out of it.
I mean,
Tobias
Is
will
someone gonna tell him
demonstrate
how to do
biting
this?
out of his own apple. He's like, just bite into it like this, and he bites his own apple.
No, if you
make
said-
him eat the lemon peel.
He's never eaten before. Not a lemon, at least. He doesn't know how to do this. Genuinely.
Look, the longer that Tobias might explain something, the faster Hawk might catch on. He only has so much time.
Yeah, Hawk sort of just like, with all of his trust placed in Tobias, like squeezes the lemon a little bit and goes like, all right.
Okay. While you're doing that, you can see one of the halfling children go like like
Tobias, like,
he considers stopping you for a second, but then
Does
changes his
Tobias
mind
see
and
the
sees how
halfling
this
kid?
plays out.
does Tobias notice the halfling kid looking away?
Yes.
Tobias just like hand low, like partially hidden by his cloak or whatever, just gives the halfling kid a thumbs up, just like it's like we doing this.
All right, Hawk, what do you think?
It's really sour.
Would he even know what sour is?
I don't know, actually. That's a good point.
This lemon, it's so much.
I think I'm dying.
It hurts. Is it supposed to taste like this?
I don't think I like lemon.
The halfling child that was watching you was just roaring with laughter.
Tobias has a very, very pleased smile on his face.
And one of
Demir is trying very hard to hide that she is giggling in the corner.
one of the mothers comes by and starts explaining to you how to peel the lemon and then telling you that it's good for squirting into drinks or on top of salads or whatever. And if you'd like to try different fruit,
Hawk just like wincing with pain and regret, just like, yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
she hands you a very juicy pear.
Okay.
Tobias just kind of shrugs and goes, I never said it was good.
Thank you, ma'am. Oh. He sort of just like steals himself a little bit, just like, ugh. And now he tries the pear. And he seems to like that a lot better.
All right. Valkyria.
Hello.
You are on a nice half-hour jaunt to the southern part of the city, looking for a temple to Torm. You managed to find a relatively large temple with kind of alcove-like side chapels, inside of which you can see it's lined with burial niches containing stone coffins wherein priests of the temple are interred.
Well, I go up to what is probably the main altar and do the thing where I hunker down with the spear and meditate to Torm.
Okay. What specifically are you meditating on?
I didn't think this far. It's probably a combination of like confusion over his reaction and trying to do what's best to save a fallen fellow god and what to do to be successful on this quest.
Okay. Roll a religion check.
I will test my dice before rolling this one because I want to roll not awful this time. Well, I wish I had just gone with the purple because that was a nat 20. Okay. 14 with adds. Religion. That puts it up to a 19.
Okay.
Proficiency, no intelligence modifier. Yep, 19. Unless if I want to use my point of luck.
I think you already used it today to try to persuade.
That is true. Never mind then.
Okay. So you kneel before the altar and start to consider the situation. Do you find yourself thinking of sort of the tenets and ideals of Torm? And you're just kind of running through them in your mind. Like, oppose the unjust usage of authority, stand your ground against evil, strive to maintain order, obey with alert judgment and anticipation, stand alert against corruption. You're just kind of going through these in your mind, and one that sticks out to you, just the thought is, every failure of duty diminishes Torm, and every success adds to his luster.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Basically, you're getting don't fail.
Well, I am remaining dutiful in a righteous cause, so I don't know. So I guess Val says a thank you, drops off a little bit of change in the donation box,
All right.
and seeks out the rest of the roses.
Cool. Do you guys stay in the grocery store the whole time, or do you explore a little bit while waiting for Falk to get back?
I assume probably that we would grab our little snacks and head towards the gate, but I don't know if anyone else had any plans.
Makes sense to me. Unless we see some sick shopping along the way.
Not really much in terms of shopping in this area. People seem like they're working the land. All right. So you all meet up with one another, and start making your way to the gate surrounding Myth Glade. Okay. You see
Demir
the
is
guard.
going ham on some apricots that she got from the farm cart.
All right. You can see the guards hanging out outside, guarding the area, as they are wont to do. What do you do?
I don't know that we like get close enough to the gates to maybe get too much of their attention. We're staying a ways back, just eating our food and watching the workers, I think, until we
Okay.
bulk.
Okay. Well, Valk has rejoined you guys.
Okay. All right.
The guards guarding Mistress Quarter are keeping an eye on you, but they're not saying anything.
Shall we
Do we
head
recognize?
over? Hmm?
Do we recognize any of the guards?
Nope.
Shall we head over then? Are we ready?
I don't think there's any point in delaying the matter any further.
Okay.
As ready as we're going to be, I think.
So you
Does
head
Demir
over.
have her thing where she can buff the entire party for the day yet?
Yeah, but we should probably wait until we are in the city to do that.
Okay.
So you guys head over to the guard.
Mm-hmm.
They're standing at attention, just watching you.
These people that just watched Demir scorf down an entire bag of apricots on the side of the road. Who's taking point on this? Volk?
Sure. Greetings, guardsmen. I spoke with one of your compatriots earlier about entering the city, and they informed us that we required a writ of entry. And here it is with signatures from all three heads of required heads, whatever.
One of the guards takes the paper, looks it over. He examines it very closely, nods and says, I will inform Priestess Beth of your group's arrival.
Does he look like surprised?
Roll an insight check.
That'll be a... Ooh, that is a 25.
25. So you know that guards are often trained to try to keep a straight face. And you can see that this guy, while trained, you can see in his eyes in the way that they slightly widen, just a fraction, that he's surprised. But these are clearly orders from on high. And so thus beyond his pay grade. So
all right, that's
he takes the letter, and you can see that he moves towards one of the stone parts of the wall, and heads inside, leaving you alone with the other guard. Does anyone say anything?
I think Lish will kind of strike up conversation a little bit and just ask, so while we're in the quarantined zone, is there any sorts of precautions that are recommended?
She kind of looks at you and considers and says, I try to avoid physical contact. If at all possible, we're not entirely sure how it spreads yet.
And what kind of symptoms are people experiencing?
Hard to explain, really, but there seems sort of frozen.
Frozen? But they still move, or they are still?
They're still, it's like, I don't know how to explain it really.
Perhaps
They don't
like
seem to acknowledge those around them. Any changes in the environment.
as if time has stopped for them.
I suppose, yeah.
And you've seen this with your own eyes.
I have.
And will people freeze right then and there?
How do you mean?
Like, have you witnessed them touch somebody and they just start to slow and stop just then, or is it over time they change?
I haven't touched them myself, and everyone's been given strict instructions not to, just in case, because we're not sure how this works.
Mm. So we don't know how fast it works.
Well, that would explain why the healers haven't been able to fix it, if these people are dropping out of time, as it were.
Or time stopped for all of them.
I suppose it could also be just flowing so slowly that we can't notice a difference.
Either way, it's very clear that some sort of time thing has happened here.
Which
Well, I
is
wish
not
we had
necessarily
Zoda with us.
surprising.
I'll say after about 15-20 minutes, the other guard comes back and says, Priestess Burke has heard your request for entry and has received your rite of passage. I suppose follow me, then.
Here we go.
Let's
And
go.
this guard guides you back the same way that he had gone. You can see through like a few gates and several rooms full of guards apparently on break. It would not be very easy for someone to go this way to break in to Myth Glade. But you are eventually led back outside. Guard salutes and returns to his post. So, this part of the city, as are all the others, is defined by its own style of architecture. The building materials for this sector seem to be primarily stone, marble, granite, and brick. The streets are paved in grandiose mosaic tiles or well-laid cobblestones. And you can also see that public fountains dot many of the larger crossroads and squares. They very lovely section. And there are people moving about in here. Many of them seem to be wearing different sorts of robes or vestments of different deities, talking to each other or hurrying towards different places. Can recognize, let's see, you can recognize the symbol of a Zeus, god of wizards, symbol of Denier, symbols of Oghma, symbols of Savris, Saloon, Lyra, Melil, and Gond.
No symbols of Mistra?
Not that you've noticed so far.
And have we seen any frozen people yet?
Nope.
So all the people in here look like they're residents of the quarter, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
There's sort of a tension in the air.
I was going to say,
Understandably.
do they all look like priests? There are no like civilians around.
Roll a perception check.
Okay. Oh, that's not great. That is a hold on. 12.
I mean, some of them don't look like they're wearing as fancy robes as anyone else. Some of them just look like they are wearing amulets, so they might be civilians.
Do I get like a vibe off of those ones? Or is it all this? I'm sorry, what?
Insight check.
Okay.
AKA a vibe check.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Hold on. I have too many things happening at once. Math. 13.
13. I mean, they seem to have the same air of tension and anxiety that many of the other people you've seen do.
Cool. So no one knows what is going on.
Okay. Where do you want to go? Or what are you looking for?
In the maps that I got from one of our hirelings that we got, what was her name? Bone Smasher.
Betha.
Yeah. Was the city at all highlighted in those maps? Because they were
You
of
did
this.
not get a map of the city. You got a map of the mountain range and then the northern range.
Okay. Then I guess we should probably ask for directions.
Okay.
She'll kind of flag down whoever is kind of nearest bustling past.
Okay. You flag down an older woman. She's got her like gray hair back in a bun, and she's got little glasses on her face, and she seems to be a half elf.
Greetings. Good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, I'm about as well as can be expected.
Oh, wonderful.
Sorry, I've not seen you folks in here before.
Yes, well, we're just visiting. We are here investigating, and we're hoping for some directions, if you would be so helpful.
Well, I would be glad to provide any information I can. And you can see that she is wearing a necklace with the symbol of a lit candle above an open eye, which is the symbol of Denir, the god of writing.
Lish will just kind of nod and say, "We are looking for Mistra's temple, or at least the general direction of it."
I'm sorry, darling, but that temple has been closed. There's a sickness, you see.
That's all right. We are just looking to go and see it. We're not going to we're not going to break into it or anything like that.
Very well. you can find the Spellwork Sanctum just down that way and to the left. You can't miss it.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
The temple to Oghma, where would that be as well?
That would be fairly close to the Spellwork Sanctum, just a couple blocks northward of it.
Thank you.
Okay. So you start following the directions of this older woman, and she was correct in that you can't miss this Spellwork Sanctum. It's a beautiful structure constructed of stone, and shaped like a sort of a single spire, a tiara with a single standalone tower in the very middle. The spire of the temple faces north and, combined with the temple's roof line, forms the shape of kind of a crescent moon and star that is noticeable to all of the nearby streets. An inset with curving stones, the temple also sports many crystal and silver star windows. It's a very beautiful building, but you can see that the doors are being guarded by people wearing the symbol of Oghma.
Well, we could always, do a rinse repeat of what Valk did with the previous guards.
Did our permission form like I assume that I read it over while we had it for a while. Does it give us specifically permission to the temple, or is it just to the Myth Glade?
Just to Myth Glade.
Yeah.
As long as we have found the temple to Mystra, we may be able to go and beseech the person that we gave the form to initially for access to this.
They did say the form was sent to someone. Did we catch who they said?
Mm-hmm.
The name used by the guard before, someone named Priestess First.
I think we should go to the Temple of Oghma first.
We can
They
also
seem to
we can also ask and see who these guards report to.
My guess is, since this is Mistra's sector, Oghma is second to Mystra, and so probably has assumed control of the sector.
Which means they may be a good source of information about what's going on before we go to the Temple of Mystra.
Precisely.
Best to be as informed as we can.
All right. So once again, following the old lady's direction, you start to head toward the Temple of Oghma, which seems to be a very large library with 4 above ground levels and an unknown expanse of storage tunnels and catacombs below.
if only Levy were here.
The first 3 floors contain the library proper, with unnumbered collections of mostly unique and ancient books, parchments, and artifacts. The fourth floor, contains a smaller study chambers and guest rooms for visiting scholars. can see people moving around the bookshelves, honoring Oghma through their pursuit of knowledge.
We really do need Levy.
We need nerds.
Yeah, she would love it here.
Well, I guess Valk is the next up as the honorary nerd. Or maybe Hawk.
Are we asking?
Probably. Do I notice anyone who seems more authoritative?
I mean, there are various priests around.
Would I know the... Oh. Would Valk... Go ahead, Kenny.
I was about to say, technically, Tobias has a advantage in religious checks and has a plus, so I don't know if that will help at all anywhere here, but also Valk's the fucking, like, religious person, so I'm just gonna sit back.
Congratulations. You have a better religious check than Valk does.
That's fucking funny, my dude!
She's a dork and a dweeb, not a nerd.
She went to knife class rather than praying class.
Well, you
I'm
were
back.
She handed
studying
Tobias a book
the
about
Bible.
deities,
I
and Tobias
studied
is
the
like,
Blade.
yeah, literally. Opsy handed Tobias a book once about deities or gods or whatever and stuff, just as like, you know, gathering random books to be like, I want to give this kid, because I can't take him to a school or whatever, give him as much information on a variety of things as possible. And Tobias like, yoink, just fucking locks in, reads this.
Just,
wow.
Just devours the book.
I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
So does Tobias want to handle this then?
That would be so fucking funny, because the specific wording, because I was like looking, because Tobias has advantages in Arcana, investigation, history, nature, perception, religion, and survival, but for some of those advantages it's specifically like in only certain instances. So like for the I guess the intelligence check, oh no, yeah, the advantage for the Arcana check stuff is specifically about like fae, fiends, or undead. Hence why he's not. Oh, I didn't read the thing. Never mind. Val, you're the one. Because yeah, Tobias has an advantage on it, but that's only if it's fae, fiends, or undead. Because of his Hunter's Bane. He does have a +7 to intelligence, though.
So I did just sit back down. What's going on?
We made it to the church, temple, library of Oghma, and we're debating who is going to bother a librarian. There was one more question that I was going to put to the group before the session and completely forgot about it.
No.
I'm the level that can do martial versatility, and I was wondering if people think it would be better if I remained with just the defensive fighting stance, which gives the +1 AC, or if I should potentially pivot and do the, I can't remember if it's protection or it's the one where if you're close to someone, you can make it so the person attacking them can miss. Which would be fluffy.
The +1 AC that you're talking about, is that specifically only applying to Valk for the defensive one?
Yes.
What's your
Whereas-
AC without it?
21.
21, okay.
And then protection, if someone attacks someone within 5 feet of me, I can impose disadvantage on the attack roll with a reaction. Although I already have silvery barbs and kind of use it for that.
Yeah,
But-
I think that's just a bit like situational, you know?
Whereas AC is always great.
Whereas the
Yeah,
AC
and
is always
especially because
great.
Valk is a little on the squishier side.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, DM's back.
All right, who's going to find a priest to talk to?
I nominate Valk because I didn't read my thing fully. The advantage only applies to Fae, Fiends, and Undead. I keep forgetting.
Okay, Valk goes and says hi to someone who looks important.
Okay.
Lish will go with Volk.
All right, you end
Well, I
up.
figured it was the entire party, but Valk's being the front.
Yeah, Lish will back you up.
Cool.
You approach a male gnome with a very large nose and large glasses and a scrungly gray and white beard.
I love how gnomes are basically what happens when you put your character slider options on either max or minimum and nowhere in between. Would I know what to call this person?
Not offhand.
Okay. Greeting, fellow priests. I was hoping for your aid in a couple endeavors.
Well, I could do what I can.
My party and I were recently granted access to this sector of the city in order to complete our quests, and so was hoping for some information and to contact the priestess. Help with the name, anyone?
Don't look at me.
We didn't get her name written down because you didn't meet her.
Yeah, but we were told the name by the guard, and
Yeah, it's
You were
not
told-
an encountered in
Told the name many times.
yes, we were.
First.
Bursk. Priestess
Bersk.
Bursk.
That's what.
Uh,
I can barely remember names in real life. You expect me to remember them in fantasy?
You said BRISK or BD something?
DERSK.
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 Okay.
yeah. So ask for a variety of information and to get in contact with Priestess Bursk.
Well, the priestess is at the Temple of Mistra right now, but she's due to return back in an hour or two.
Okay. I suppose we can get our other pieces of information that we need in the interim.
What sort of information are you looking for?
I can't remember what specifically we were going to look up in relation to Mistra, But weren't we going to look up information on the dragon and what else, party?
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to learn a little bit more about when all this magical quarantine and injury happened. Put our timelines in order a little bit more.
Fair. Okay, so what's probably most important is more information on this curse disease.
Mm.
The reason why you're all quarantined, since our quest is also tied to Mistra. But besides that, we have a couple more mundane pieces of information that we could need some help looking up in your vast reservoirs of knowledge.
Well, the share of information is part of our dogma, so I suppose that you are welcome to do the research that you need here. I mean, by the way, you can't see this man's mouth. He just seems to be a beard and a nose and glasses.
Lish just like, oh, there's a library or an archive.
He kind of like opens his arms to gesture at the library that I'm standing in right now.
Okay, great.
It's our understanding that the quarantine started a couple weeks ago.
That is correct, yes.
Has the city been affected by strange magical occurrence or time dilations before this?
Strange things happen all the time.
Fair. Stranger than usual, I suppose?
Depends on how you define usual.
Usual being the average passing of time. We're looking for things like bubbles, different people being different ages than they should be. Things appearing.
Seasons.
Roll
Being
a
out of
persuasion check with advantage, Lish.
Okay. 14. Did the worst, but not the best.
You can kind of see that, first of all, this gnome is fucking with you guys a little bit because he doesn't know you guys. You're just strangers that apparently showed up out of nowhere in this section of the city that's supposed to be quarantined.
We got paperwork. We should just staple the paperwork to our chests.
Well, Valk does obviously have a symbol of Mistra on her shield and the holy symbol on display.
Yeah, but you're still weird as fuck people that just showed up in this quarantine section of the city.
Well, that's fair. You're weird as fuck.
So he kind of strokes his beard face a little bit and sighs and says, there have been strange happenings, such as letters arriving that have yet to be sent, referencing events that have not happened yet, as well as rumors of devil worship taking place in the mountain.
Devil worship.
For all the letters, was that like confined to specific areas that we're receiving, or maybe having
Not
sent
in
them?
particular. I do know of a family that received condolences for the death of their grandfather who had not yet passed.
Oh, that's hard.
Well, that's in line with the various time disturbances we've been running across already. Do you know if anyone's been looking into the time disturbances in particular?
We all have. That is
Aaron laughs out
why
loud.
we are trying to understand what is going on with the Temple of Mishra.
Well,
As are we.
we might be able to shine a bit of light on that once Priestess Bursk returns.
Well, that
We've
is the hope.
experienced things like this.
Mhm.
Other
Anyway,
than
shall we spend the next hour trying to figure out info on the dragon?
You can look up the dragon, you can look up the phoenix. I have lots of other books available as well.
while everyone's there, I'm curious about two things actually. If this is like a huge like library, being
This is a
God
huge
knowledge,
library.
huge library. There's probably going to be even more books than we've seen that might mention us. There's a chance.
That is a very
That's a
good
point.
point.
And I'm also a little curious about the shape of the curse, like when it happened, what's been happening with it. We know that people have been freezing, but we don't know what else happened when this all started.
Yeah, Licia's interested in knowing what sort of theories they have as to why it's happening so far, if they even have a single clue.
How about you investigate that, and I'll investigate any further mentions of the roses in history where we probably don't belong.
Okay, so it sounds like we'll have 3 research teams while we wait for Burst to return. Wild Roses out of time, Dragon, and getting the background information on the quarantine.
Aaron's also going to try to do his own research if no one else says that they absolutely need him.
Fair enough.
Tobias also wants to look into something as well, or a couple things as well.
Baba Yaga. Okay, Valk, I guess will take the quarantine. I assume Demir wants to handle the dragon. Tobias is on their own. Aaron's on their own. Is Hawk looking at past roses? And so that leaves Lish. What are you up to?
I'm chit-chatting.
Okay, fair enough.
And then we can add Demis to one of those, to whoever's check we think is more important.
Or let's put it this way, whoever's check is most likely to be awful.
That's true.
Because I would like advantage, please.
How about
Yeah, I think you can just have Septimus.
How about Demir gives Volk, the Hawk, Toby, and Aaron 1, 2, 3, 4 bardic inspiration points.
Oh, that's a D6, right?
Yep.
That is greatly
Or
appreciated.
I'm sorry. It's actually a D8 now. I
Woo!
Oh, God.
Sexy.
Well, yeah, I will not turn that down.
Unexpected. Let's go.
Okay, so I guess I'll go first. What check is this?
Question, actually.
Because
Investigation.
Okay.
I'll take that D10 because I don't have a bonus to this anymore.
That would be a 10.
Okay. Well, remind me, what specific thing are you looking for?
Information on the quarantine, patterns on time disruption.
Looking around, lots of the books and documents here are very old books and manuscripts and historical tomes. You're not really finding much in public being sorts of situations going on.
Well, historic
Okey-doke.
exploits, then. Interesting. Or I guess not interesting, but unfortunate.
So Valk bangs her head against a wall. Got it.
Who's next?
I can have Tobias go next. The two things that I wanted Tobias to look into, the first is Baba Yaga, which since that's an investigation role, and because he gets advantage on Fae Fiends Undead, does that count to Baba Yaga, or is Baba Yaga? Okay. I just wanted to double check to make sure, because I'm actually reading my character sheet and trying to remember what I actually have advantage on.
Amazing the kind of things you realize you can do when you look over your
When
sheet.
you read. Wow. When you remember you have 2 college degrees and you can read.
You're not Jared 19.
Maybe. Who you don't know me. You don't know my life. The other thing I wanted Tobias to look into was the gnome had mentioned cult in the mount, like cult rituals or whatever in the mountains. Tobias will want to do some research to see if there was any prior mention of a cult, or if this is like a new occurrence, or maybe a group that's been displaced. Basically trying to find more information about that stuff. For those two things, would he do separate roles for them?
Yeah. So let's start with Baba Yaga, maybe.
Okay. Investigation. Let's see. Okay. I won't use the bardic inspiration for that because I got a 21.
Okay. You are able to find a old hefty tome titled The Great Crone. Let me send you some information.
Ooh baby, ooh baby, ooh baby.
Okay.
Woo! Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
We're in a fucking temple to Oghma. It's a lot of knowledge.
Okay, he will absolutely note this stuff down. I'm just like scanning through it real fast. Cool, cool, cool. Cool, cool. Awesome. Okay. On to the next role, which is inquiring about the cults. And yeah, Fae Fiends are undead. Was there something else that I had that was like knowledge of cult-like things? I thought I just read that. I could be wrong though. I could be misremembering.
You have is it like, I can't remember the name of it, but it's something like where you touch an object, you can know like the evil history of it. It's kind of like legend lore.
Grim psychometry.
There we go.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, yeah, so that's specifically for touching an object kind of deal. Yeah. I thought there was something else, but I might have also literally just been reading a description of a thing and didn't realize that wasn't part of the actual like feat thing. Okay. So I'll just do a normal investigation for that. No, I don't want to look at the description of investigation. I want to roll. I might as well. How long does the bardic inspiration last? Just an hour?
I think it's like 10 minutes. So
Okay, then Screw it,
We're
Tobias
kind of-
will use it on. He'll use it on this, even though he doesn't really need to. That way it doesn't go to waste. That'll be a 25.
25. You're able to find a book called The Witch Cults of Northern Alperin, which describes ancient devil-worshipping witch cults that, basically their kind of the thing was they would have a patron devil to whom they would sacrifice people to, and sometimes even try to purposefully breed tiefling children. This was during the Holy Era, and they have long since been squashed.
Okay. And basically, like, based on that description there, and based on what the gnome told us, Tobias is able to tell that, like, those rumors of cults and things, they're not the same one.
Didn't sound like it, just based on the connotation of what the gnome was saying. He's saying a devil worship. If he knew specifically that it was like these specific ancient witches,
he would have mentioned.
He probably would have said.
Okay. So this is potentially either a new cult or just some people doing some fucking stuff up in the mountains.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know how people in the mountains get up to weird shit all the time.
Yeah, like those kind of old weird folk tales of just like, oh, there's some people up in them hills, and it's like, you mean Sean, the goat herder who just take cares of goats? Oh, he's up there doing something, and it's like, okay, okay, Grandpa.
While you're doing this research, I will say that you check in with the gnome a bit, and he says that there is a bounty put up by what's the name of the fucking building? It's just called Bounty Hall. By the Bounty Hunters Guild for more information.
Okay, and where would that Bounty Hunters Guild be?
That is over in the Righteous Walk.
Okay, Righteous Walk. I'm just gonna muting
that's
myself so I can
the
type
section
faster
of the city
real quick.
That's the section of the city dedicated to Peter.
Alperin, thank you for the town donation.
Okay. Okay, good to know. The last thing I wanted to ask the gnome gentleman was if he would even know this, is the location of those rumors, like do they specifically mention the mountain range that it's coming from, or is it just like it's somewhere out there, not knowing specifics? If he doesn't, then Tobias will eventually go ask the Righteous Walk. But
you are currently in the Galadian Mountains. These mountains are frequently traveled as pilgrims to Alperin itself. And according to his knowledge, these mountains have been causing people to go missing every now and then, and so they're suspecting devil worship or Asmodean worship.
Okay, cool. That's good to know, because this is the same mountain range as the dragon. Yeah.
No. The Dragon Mountain range, best you can guess, is the Aonair Mountains, which is
Oh. Is it further north?
Yeah.
Okay.
The cult worship is potentially within the mountain range you're currently.
Okay, that makes more sense. All right, thank you. That will be all on Tobias's front.
Cool. Who's next?
Aaron can go next. He's also gonna do 2 searches. And the first is he's gonna look into ways of permanently killing or banishing a fiend so that it can't keep on coming back and trying to kill you.
Okay. Roll an investigation check.
That will be that's actually not terrible. That'll be a 21.
21. So the thing is with fiends, they are particularly difficult to kill on a different plane from which they hail. So if, for example, you kill a demon, here on the material plane, the demon will then be sent back to the abyss where it came from, and it will take time for this demon to reform, and also depending on what kind of demon it is, and or if it's in a hierarchy situation like in the hells, this fiend could even be demoted for their apparent failure. In which case it would take a long time for it to try to come back, even if it wanted to. The best way to permanently kill a fiend is to travel to its own plane of existence, whether that would be the 9 hells, or it would be the layers of the abyss, or it would be double checking what I actually named it. Would be the Google Doc loading forever.
My favorite plane.
The unknown.
All right. That's good to know, and probably a project for another day.
Yeah. So demons are from the abyss, devils are from hell, and daemons are from the unknown.
All right. So he'll file that away. And then for his second check, he's gonna look into like ways of just keeping things out of your house. Of like a spell you can use to just only allow certain people in. Or like a ritual or whatever. And well, that wasn't a great roll.
And this will be an Arcana check.
Alrighty. Well, that's an extra not good roll then. That's a no, that's a 9.
Okay. So you're looking into these books and you start going down this rabbit hole of different kind of wards that you can create. You can create like fog-filled corridors, making them like heavily obscure, so it's difficult to see. You can make it so that all doors in a warded area are magically locked as if sealed by like an arcane lock. And you can also cover doors with like illusions to make it look like it's a wall. You can create like webs on stairs to prevent people from climbing them, and you can use like dancing lights to make it look like if there's a person when there really isn't. And like you can place all sorts of different sorts of things around, and you're like, I don't feel like any of this is helpful to what I'm looking for.
All right. Yeah, I think that you'll just shrug it off and go and rejoin the group.
All right. Who up next?
Which one of us is specifically looking into the dragon and the phoenix again, or did we feel like we had enough info about them?
That's his Demir. I guess I
Gotcha.
can go next.
Okay. Which one are you looking into first?
Dragon. Let's go.
All right.
Is that it's cocked. Is that investigation?
Investigation.
Oh, I wish I took the cocked one, but it went out of my thing. Oh, okay, that's not the worst. Hold on, let me math so that I don't mess up. That's a dirty 20.
All right. You are looking for information, a white dragon that breathes fire. And of course, you get the standard information about chromatic dragons and the different types there. But eventually, you are directed to this very old. It looks like it was a piece of a tapestry at one point. But it's now just a scrap, and it's clearly very old. And there is written in Dwarvish on it.
Hang on. I think I might have a spell for this. No, I don't. I will. Well, oh wait, no, I do. Okay, I cast comprehend. Does comprehend language? No, it's only spoken language. No wait.
Comprehend languages does text as well. Tongues is only spoken.
Oh, cool. Then I'm casting comprehend language
and
reading the Dwarven.
So this piece is titled The Northern Inferno. And it seems to be a poem of some sort. It says, in the heart of the mountain the dwarves did reside, with hammers a-clanging, their hearts filled with pride. Their forges burned bright, neath stone and the steel, till the white dragon's shadow on their fortress did steal. From the frost-bitten north came a beast fierce and grand, with scales gleaming white like snow on the land. Her breath was of fire, a blistering blaze, turning night into day with a terrible haze. The dwarves raised their axes, their shields held up high, as the dragon descended from the ice-laden sky. Her roar split the air, her eyes filled with ire, as she unleashed her wrath in a torrent of fire. But stout were the dwarves, with hearts forged of gold, and they fought with a fury both valiant and bold. But through the heat of the flames their courage did shine, as they rallied their kin on the mountainous spine. Back to the north, ye beasts of the cold, for our city will stand, and our spirits are bold. With hammers and arrows they drove her away to the desolate north, the bleak of the day. But as she retreated, the dragon turned back, her eyes full of vengeance, her heart dark black. I'll return from vengeance, she promised the knight, and your city will crumble and bow to my might. With a thunderous roar, she soared to the sky, a shadow receding as the dawn drew nigh. The dwarves stood in silence, for victory hard won, but they knew in their hearts the battle was not done. For the white dragon's promise, like a frost on the wind, lingered in the air, the night did rescind. And the dwarves, ever watchful, prepared for the day when the northern inferno would return for her prey.
Cool. Is there any information on the tapestry itself? I assume it came from the city of, I believe it was Torim that was attacked.
Torim, yes.
Yeah, my notes are correct. And is there anything on the city of Torim that I can find?
Yeah. There's plenty of information. It is a thriving dwarven city. Beautiful place, and they often end up trading with the city of Alperin.
So if I stop like one of the librarians and just like, how old is this tapestry?
This one is several centuries old at this point. It's one of our older artifacts. One of the ones that we're willing to share with the public at least.
Well, I'm glad for it. Do you happen to have
generously donated to us by the city?
Good to know. Do you happen to have anything more on this dragon, or is it just this?
Mostly just this. What more information are you looking for?
Anything about it? It came from the north, but does anyone have any idea of where its lair might be? What's its origin? Its name?
The common belief is that she had lived within the Aenair Mountains, and when a few folks in Torim had gone looking for a potential expansion into the northern mountain range, they had disturbed her in her slumber, and she awoke, killed them, and then flew to Torim seeking vengeance, but was then driven back by the dwarves.
Okay, that's something.
She was mostly just referred to as the Northern Inferno.
The Northern Inferno. Okay. Do you happen to know anything about a undead phoenix?
Actually, I do have a book that details it. Just one moment. And she returns after a brief moment with a book called The Army of the Lich Tyrant.
Was that the same book that we had found in Varhasa's archive?
I think that might have been a different one.
Okay. Then Demir will take it. Thank you.
Okay. So, let me just send you that real quick. So, talks a little bit about the Tyrant of Woe, which was a very powerful lich from the continent of Patlea, but he had followings all over the planet, really. And it describes how this this phoenix was assisting the forces of the daughter of Torm, who was supposed to be like this great hero, like an angelic woman, who was leading the forces against the Tyrant of Woe. And in one of these battles, the Tyrant of Woe had captured the Phoenix and corrupted its rebirth, essentially transforming it into an undead, almost sort of mockery of what it once was.
Does it say anything about where the Phoenix in the Shadowfell had been banished, or just to the Shadowfell with no?
It implies that it is made up. It's not been seen for a long time, but it's implied that it's drawn towards the mountain.
Mountains. Is there a map of the Shadowfell, or like any general information about it, like with it, like what does it look like, where are the factions? There are mountains somewhere, but
Roll an Arcana check.
okay. Ooh, natty 20.
That's funny. All right.
For a total of 26.
26. So the way that the Shadowfell is described, it's sort of like a dark mirror of the material plane in a lot of ways. It's very gloomy, and there's no sun, moon, or stars there. It looks as if all things have had the color leached out, leaving nothing but black and white, with the sort of dimness of the Shadowfell being more like dark black and light black. When traveling there, you would see some features that look similar to what you'd see on the material plane, but others would look completely foreign. Any plant life that grows there would wither and die almost immediately from the lack of light. And there are lots of different types of undead that just freely roam the land. Left there abandoned from ages past. It's there. You can also find the Shadar-kai there, which are their type of elf. And the book that you find notes that where you would find avatics in the material plane, you can find a city of Shadar-kai called Gloomvale, that is ruled by a dragon.
Ooh. That's fun. I assume not a white dragon.
No. It's kind of hard to describe, but this dragon is called Nothir the Ebony End, and is described as being vampiric in nature.
Horrifying. Love that. Does my natty 20 maybe give me an idea of a region in which I could find this undead phoenix in the Shadowfell? Maybe.
Just as the mountain.
Just the mountain. Just any mountains.
I think I know how to piggyback off of that when my investigation comes, because I've got 2 specific things I think I want to look into.
Okay, well, I think
Including
those
that.
were Demir's research topics. So go for it. Take it away, Max.
Yeah. So first off, I think last session it was mentioned that there was some other group that had something to do with the Northern Inferno. There's like a group of adventurers or something, I think.
No, just a few smaller, a few dwarves from Torum that were seeking expansion that ended up disturbing the Northern Inferno.
Okay. So I think I'll just have Hawk checking on Demir then, and then so that I have something to actually like go off of in character for pursuing the Phoenix idea here, since we know the general area of the dragon. And there's mountains all over the planet, so Phoenix could be anywhere. So let's narrow that down a little. So does Demir share what she found with Hawk? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So here's my thinking then. This daughter of Tyr, I think you said. What was her name? Was she just called the daughter of Tyr, or?
Let me double check. I have a name for her somewhere.
I guess it was Demir given a name. Because
I mean,
I
was
wouldn't
it
know
in the
that.
book?
Was it in the book?
I have her name somewhere. It's just a matter of sorting through my notes. Her name is Arashmi, and she's the daughter of Torm.
Arashmi, daughter of Torm, and she was the original companion of the Phoenix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna
The
look
book
for.
also notes that she was also killed by the Tyrant of Woe.
So is the. I don't know if I'm on the verge of asking too much before the roll here. Was it mentioned whether or not she was the one who banished the Phoenix?
No.
Okay.
She did not banish the Phoenix. She and the Phoenix, whose name is, and so many notes, Zitninwa. They were fighting against the Tyrant of Woe. And the Tyrant of Woe killed Zitninwa. And turned the Phoenix against the army fighting against him, led by the daughter of Torm. She then continued the fight against both the Tyrant of Woe and her former companion. And after she was killed by the Tyrant of Woe, the Tyrant was eventually trapped somewhere. He's been confined in some place unknown, rightfully lost to history.
Yeah.
And that was when the Phoenix was banished to the Shadowfell.
All right. I think I'm going to look up more information on the Phoenix then to figure out where eventually it ended up for its banishment. Just what. Like, I'm not expecting anything more than a continent name, if even that.
Okay.
So I'll roll for that. I'll use inspiration for that since it's more important than my other query. Oh wow! All right. Natural 20, total 27.
All right. So, looking at this book that Demir has been looking at and examining it with some other documents, there is discussion of the undead phoenix sometimes menacing travelers from Gloomvale.
Well, that's an answer. Not the answer I would have preferred, but helpful nonetheless. It sounds like there's more than one dragon. There's more than one terrorizing mythical beast that we need to deal with because Phoenix is also swooping in on this Gloomvale place. So we may actually have to travel there at some point.
I read earlier that the Gloomvale it's where Alprin is in our world, right?
Avatex.
Avatex. It's where Avatex is in our world, so at least we have that point of reference.
That's fair. We could probably skip the city altogether if we felt confident in our guesses, but considering there's more than one mountain range in Saya, we'd probably be searching for a while if we didn't get exact directions. I wonder if Veril's from there.
Who knows? I know
Right.
very little about the Shadowfell. All that I know about it is right here. Shakes the book.
Well, may as well take notes then. Feel like we're fairly prepared for it either way. If it's full of darkness and undead, we've got two people at the very
Well,
least who can
I
deal
guess
with that
we'll
in
find
spades.
out.
Right, there was one other thing I was curious about. I'm gonna do that aforementioned just general perusement of places where the wild roses show up in history that we don't yet know about.
Okay. Investigation check.
Hey. 19.
19. You're able to find a very brief allusion to the presence of a group like the Wild Roses. At least seems to match your description. Traveling in Nivelli, or what would eventually become Nivelli, after the volcanic eruption during the conflict era. You would know that much of the land there is fertile due to the to this volcanic eruption that took place within the Storm Peak Mountains, creating a large caldera there.
So it was the era of conflict or the era of combat?
Conflict.
Okay, it was conflict. Got it right. Still checking. Interesting.
Also, interestingly enough, while you're doing this research, you stumble across something else interesting. You may remember a while back at that festival you guys attended, where you encountered another adventuring party called the Stargazers.
Don't tell me.
you were able to find information about them in the Arcane era.
Huh?
It seems to be vague, but talking about how the stargazers would travel around to different cities and different places, and they eventually retired and led fulfilling lives in this past era.
Are there any descriptions of members of the party, and do they match up with the stargazers that we met?
Yes.
Oh my god. Well then.
And thinking back, these people didn't seem like they were from a Byra. Reading the book and given what you know about them, you get the impression maybe they had stumbled through one of these time holes and kind of figure out a way to get back.
Huh.
Makes sense. There can't be more than one adventuring party on a continent in one time period at a time.
Well, that's interesting. I've learned something new about our old friends, the stargazers. He just sort of relays that to whoever's nearby. Just like, they were displaced.
Not too surprising. Suppose many things are displaced. I'm sure if you looked up figures like the daughter of Torm, that she might be out of place too.
Perhaps. You have to be careful. Valkyria might not survive a celebrity meetup like that.
I was thinking the same thing. Demir like kind of looks over at Valkyria like, do you imagine they would be more like siblings or more like doppelgangers?
I think sisters in faith and battle, if anything.
I just love the mental image of you two gossiping about Falk, and she's just sitting there literally banging her head against a book. Just quietly going thunk, thunk, thunk.
I think she's having trouble.
Do you want to go help her?
I think so, yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. Searching the library is always a matter of luck, it seems. I still haven't mastered the Dewey Decimal System.
Times like these that I wish we had Levy. Or someone with book smarts. Certainly not me.
Didn't take well to reading as a child, I suppose?
Oh no, I read, but not what these sort of books were.
I suppose in a sense
Mostly
that is what I
adventure
meant.
serials and stories such as that.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Unless you are trying to be educated.
Perhaps your brother could help. He seems the book smart type.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Perhaps your brother could help out if you needed it.
Oh yes, I am sure he would be able to find exactly what we are looking for.
Just a thought, that's all.
Well, Valkyria certainly believes he would be of help to us. Now you do as well.
Well, far be it from me to intrude on whatever's happening between you two. I'm merely thinking in terms of objectivity.
There's nothing happening between us two.
Insight check.
feel like you don't need an insight check just for
I
that.
really don't
tone.
need one, no. Just tone alone. Well, Demir's in luck. That's a 9.
Do you want to know what I rolled in my perception?
It's probably higher than 25, isn't it?
Just a little higher.
Yeah, that makes
I rolled
sense.
a 34.
Jesus Christ, you need to be stopped.
Too powerful.
Yeah. There's
But,
definitely something going on. Hawk has no clue what it is.
And that is why Valk has Zone of Truth always prepared.
Yeah, I mean,
Hawk just sort of gives her a look. Just like, I don't believe you, but I don't know what the reality could be at all.
It's less a matter of like her tone absolutely gives away that there is something bothering her, but like it's hard to tell exactly what it is. Is it annoyance at Volk in general? Is it like sibling rivalry? Is it like whatever? Like you can't pinpoint what exactly the tone is about, but there is certainly a tone.
Well, you know that I never really had siblings of my own, but if you ever do want to talk about it, I'm always around. Can't guarantee I'm better company than Lish, of course, but
There's nothing to talk about.
that's what you say. I'm gonna go help Valkyrian. Good luck with whatever else research you're doing.
Better make sure she doesn't break that book she's using as a flogger.
It seems pretty sturdy. I think you can take it. He's gonna go over and help her now.
Samir probably like tries to flip for a few more books before giving up and just like very half-heartedly and goes over to Lish and kind of sits down by where he is goofing off.
Goofing off, sure. Lish has been chit-chatting with the head of the archive library for a bit, and then I think after he got if he got any answers, I mean, he was gonna ask about what they had learned about the disease, if they had any like leads about it and whatnot. But after
right.
he was done chit-chatting, he would go and maybe look at a couple books.
All right. So for the chit chatting, I will say roll a persuasion check.
My character sheet disappeared. Where did it go? There we go. Okay. What did you say? Persuasion.
Persuasion.
Okay. 22?
22. Okay. Just a second. So first of all, you learn that the leader of this quarter of the city is called High Spellweaver Eurydice Warder.
Eurydice
Warder.
Warder.
Like, Warder.
Like water with an accent. Warder. Okay.
You learn that she is a tiefling. And that she seems to have a unique connection with Mistra, at least compared to the rest of the folks who are here in the city.
Is this the person that we're waiting on coming back from Mistress Temple, or is this a different person?
This is a different person.
Okay, different person.
she, well, the way it is described to you actually sounds very similar to Levy's situation with Mistra. And to their knowledge at this point, everyone who worships Mistra and within the temple, just a couple weeks back, there was some sort of arcane flash and everyone just froze. They haven't moved. They don't seem to be breathing, but they don't seem to be dead either. It's just like time has stopped for them.
And is it just within the temple sphere that they stopped, or did it has it moved out, or is it just when people touch them?
Thus far, it just seems to be confined to the temple, but they are trying to be very cautious surrounding the whole situation just because they don't know much about it yet. And you can tell that this is really frustrating to these people who worship Oghma.
Have they tried to move anybody out of the temple space?
They have tried, but they seem to just be frozen to the ground.
Okay, so they can't move them from the spot. Okay.
They can't move them.
Interesting. And so, do they have any kind of thoughts about why it happened, or they just stone? They don't care. They don't know.
They don't know. They're doing everything they can to try to figure it out, but they don't know.
Okay. But it hasn't happened anywhere else in the city, just Mr. Temple.
Just Mr. Temple, but thus far.
Okay. I had a question and then it escaped me. Fuck. Oh, did I ask this already? Have they noticed any other kinds of time occurrences? Have they seen things, creatures that do not seem to belong in the area? People are.
They have heard of mammoths, which they believe are supposed to be extinct.
Within the area or in the town?
Out
Oh, okay. She'll just be a little and kind of be just well, it will be interesting to inquire with perhaps it might be interesting for the warder to meet us as well, not just the other one. What is her name? Who's at the Mystery Temple?
Well, so she's saying that the person at the Mr. Temple, who is usually in charge of this section of the city, has mysteriously frozen.
Oh, okay. I can't think of anything else to ask him. Anybody got anything else that we should ask? I mean, should we tell this guy more about what we know about Mistra? I mean, are we gonna tell is there any other person that we want to tell as well about time shenanigans?
Yeah, we're waiting for Bursk to get back to have that conversation.
Okay.
I don't remember if we confirmed this or not, but did the time of the temple freezing line up with us finding the old temple to Mistra,
A couple
or
weeks ago, so yeah.
yeah, was it the same time as relative as time is right now?
Just about, yeah.
All right.
And then Lish will ask him, do you have any interesting tomes about the Feywild?
He has lots of tomes about the Feywild. What sort of tomes are you looking for?
Oh, you know, tomes about me.
Okay.
Well,
Sure.
or like tomes about if someone's out of time, like written something about Fiola, that might be interesting, but he's just interested in seeing what these fucking guys have written down.
Roll investigation check with advantage.
Yeah, he might be interested in seeing what they have on Titania too, but what okay, so what is it? Investigation, you said?
Investigation with advantage.
Not that one. 9. But does he know
Advantage?
with advantage? My other one was a natty 1.
Oh.
Oh no.
I mean, I have the archivist there helping me, right?
Well, that's part of why you have advantage.
He knows.
Okay.
Can Demir give him my last inspiration point of the day?
Sure, if you want.
Add a
Potentially nudge that
D8.
over 10.
Just a little bit.
The D8 to my, what did I get? 14. Or no. Let's see. So it's a D8, you said?
Yeah, 1D8.
It's a 12. So, not a total failure.
Well, okay. So you are able to find an old not manuscript, an old story, poem, play sort of vibe, about 4 humans that got lost in the Feywild, and a member of Titania's court just playing a trick on them, making them both fall in love with the same girl. They run through the forest, pursuing each other, and then said fairy trickster plays a trick on Titania herself.
Lagasp.
Did you just Midsummer's Night dream us?
Did I?
See, I didn't want to say it, but it does sound awful like awful like a beginning of winter morning's fantasy.
That's what happens when you roll shitty.
Yeah.
I just have a bad int. Don't knock me down because I'm stupid. God. Rude. Lish has a sensible chuckle about it.
Okay. You're familiar with this story.
I was there when it was written.
Mm-hmm. Your mother told you this story.
Not my
Okay.
mom.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'll be doing when Demir gives up and comes to find me.
Demir just puts her head on the table. She's joining Valkyria in the head smash, you know.
That good, eh?
Well, didn't really find out anything new other than the Phoenix is in the mountains somewhere in the Shadowfell.
Wouldn't it be nice if we go to the Shadowfell and there's just one big mountain?
I don't think we're going to get that lucky.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah. We'll just chill. Lish will tell you a little bit about the story he's reading.
Samir's
Okay.
like pretty amused by it.
All right.
Can I take a short rest while we're waiting?
How long are you planning on being in the library?
I think we're just waiting until the priestess comes back,
Okay.
right?
All right, sure. Fine. Short rest. Why not? Anyone else looking up anything, or should I have the priestess show up?
Valk wanted information on the curse, right? You couldn't find any.
Yeah, that's all
She
gonna.
went first.
Yeah, that's why I'm
No.
thinking like maybe we could try and find something like the curse, other arcane ailments, perhaps, just information on curses in general that could help.
Either that or could look up some stuff about chronomancy.
That's a good point, actually. That's a good point, actually. Are there any chronological tomes in here? Not like spell tomes, but like theory.
Roll a investigation check.
All right.
Would I be helping on this?
Sure.
Hell yeah. What's your investigation?
You're investigating. I'm helping.
Fair enough. Well, I hope my second roll is higher than a 9. It was not higher than a 9.
Okay. What's your total?
9.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost my int bonus in the respec a while back.
You're able to find like an old tone talking about like the theoretical chronomancy. Like the control and manipulation of time is an esoteric and mysterious branch of magic. Spellcasters who seek to alter time have the potential to perform incredible deeds. Potential is tempered by the great danger of intervening with time, which resists mortal interference. We do not recommend the alteration of time.
So we found a book from before chronergy was an active practice.
Yes.
Not what I was looking for.
Well, could be worse. We actually got information.
Oh, very outdated information, but information nonetheless, I suppose.
Well, are they wrong? Should people not be messing
entirely.
around with time?
I'm sure there's at least one harmless benefit to be brought out of it, right? Isn't that a pickup wizard that you guys found? Wasn't she a time something or other?
Yes, but she kept her spells small as opposed to world altering, so I suppose you got a point.
Everything in moderation, right?
Yep.
Like she was using a knitting needle instead of a machete.
True, true.
Oh. Should we
All
go
right.
rejoin the others? Wait for the priestess?
I suppose that's the right thing to do at this point.
Aaron will, I guess, just get in a quick survey if any of the books seem like they're about things that haven't happened yet, but I don't expect him to get anything from that. That's a 26. 26.
26. You're able to find a book with a reference on how about a reference on the trying to pick which thing would be useful. The reference of the cult of the Void Queen, but you don't know any more information on that. It's very vague and very unhelpful.
Okay. Well, he'll just note down that he did find something a little weird, and then set it back.
Okay. So eventually, you see a female human enter the library, and she seems to have very fine robes on, decorated with filigree that seems to include symbols of Oghma. She is, I would say, in her mid to late 30s. She's got fair skin and kind of long auburn hair. And she's immediately approached by the gnome you guys were speaking to earlier, who then points at all of you guys, and she approaches. Greeting. I assume that you all are the folks that went to all of this trouble to enter this section.
Correct. We're the Wild Roses. At which point Val kind of goes down the line, introducing everyone.
It is a pleasure to meet you all. You are welcome to examine any of the books we have here available to the public. Should you require anything more, a discussion can be had. Did you have any questions?
Yes. But we're expecting this to be a two-way sharing of information, since we have from our travels some additional information about what's going on with Mistra.
Any sharing of information you can possibly provide would be wonderful.
Does someone who knows the situation better want to explain it, or is Val gonna talk about the time cake?
Well, we can't necessarily speak to what exactly is happening in the Temple of Mistra, but we have information on what has become of the goddess herself and some clues. There are pieces of this puzzle that we are somewhat familiar with. It might be best to speak in private, though.
Very well. If you'd all follow me this way. And she leads you, interestingly enough, downstairs to one of the lower levels of the
library. As I mentioned, seems to go for very deep, but she doesn't luckily take you guys like way down into the birth mantle. She instead takes you to what seems to be a private reading room dedicated to Oghma and to his worship. It's warm in here. It's comfortable. There's a few bookshelves on the walls and a few armchairs.
So, well, I don't know how much you know, so I guess we will just start at the beginning. The weave is unraveling because the goddess Mistra has been either contained or taken out of her place in maintaining it, due to the actions of the archmage of the one of the archmages of the Turning Spire, Idurin the Indefinite. He captured the goddess and is using her in some way to bring back his dead family, we think, although to what degree that has been successful, we don't know. Our party were attempting to try and stop him, so we were there at the moment, but exactly the details are unclear. The goddess, in one of her last actions, sent us back through time. So that is how we're still here. The temples to Mistra in Alprin, or I'm sorry, in Saya have been disappearing, or in some cases reappearing, such as the temple in Uvila. As best as we can tell, we managed to visit the ancient temple and were granted a vision by this. I have her title. The Star Guide, Rohija, granted us vision to be able to see what I just told you. And when we came out of the vision, the temple was gone. As best as we're able to tell, that aligns with the time that the whatever you call it befell this temple. I think that's it. Did I get all the major points?
I think so, yeah.
Cool. And
We can list other specific examples of time dilation we've run into, but that's kind of the most pertinent part.
More important to us the cause rather than the effects, I think.
Well, it is my business to collect knowledge and share it as much as possible. So I will tell you what I know of the situation. Many temples to Mistra have had trouble around the world. Some have disappeared, as is the case for yours. One I heard in Hawaii was destroyed by a giant cat dragon thing. So I've been told. In addition,
we have encountered such a creature.
Have you now?
Some of our friends as well. It was, from my understanding of what we and others have seen, Just a moment. I'm going through my own notes here.
Tobias saw it one time, but it was also a servant of.
Here it is. The one that we've seen had some sort of armor on it, but one of our companions found an unarmored one elsewhere. At least I theorize that maybe that's a distinction between whose messenger it is, because we have a suspicion that Idern may have stolen Mistra's plane for his own use.
I see. Well, I have been doing research on these creatures. I have yet to find much information on them. All I know is that they are apparently beings of magical energy, can be quite large and fuchsia in color. I have also heard stories of portals opening around the world, leading to different planes, different places, and allowing creatures to stumble through both ways.
Not just places, but time.
That as well, I'm getting to that. This has included celestial beings arriving here in the mortal plane, as well as less than holy creatures. For example, stumbling within the fjords is a creature known as a night walker, which is very dangerous and must be avoided at all costs. On the flip side of that, an angel has taken up residence in one of the local taverns here, but she mostly just rests all day. We do not know if she had stumbled through due to one of these accidental transports, or if she is placing herself here to help protect the city for the coming time.
Which tavern is this? We might want to speak with her as well.
She does not speak to people, but if you wish to pray over her, she is at the Angel Song Tavern.
Thank you very much.
Likewise, as you mentioned, things have been going strange with time. I have heard stories of children going out to play and then not returning home, not because they've gotten lost, but because they have grown up and gotten their own families within a day. I have heard of couriers sending messages that are apparently in response to things that have yet to occur. And I have also heard of strange beings that do not exist, that should not exist yet, traveling different places.
I'm curious about something, if you don't mind humoring me. In such a place of vast knowledge, I wonder if perhaps we'll find the answer to something we've been wondering for a while. Lish, do you still have one of those rocks? The Power Stones, I think, is a good name for them.
I mean, I think I still have a couple of rocks. I dumped most of them out at the house, though.
I see one.
Lish will rummage and find a palm-sized one.
Okay.
Do you two have any idea what that could be? We found them in a displaced factory, making an attempt at more of my kind.
How do you mean?
One more time. Sorry.
What do you mean, your kind?
Hawk takes off his mask.
I see. May I? And she holds her hand out for the rock. She starts to look it over. Let me do a quick roll for her. Okay. This seems to be a stone originating from one of the upper planes known as Nirvana.
Ooh.
Stone from Nirvana.
And whose realm is Nirvana?
Does not belong to one deity in particular, but that is the realm that is inhabited by beings that have a desire to do good without caring for order or chaos.
Would I know that that's a realm with the afterlife in character?
Yeah.
It's not what I thought it was, but it somehow makes even more sense.
A realm with an afterlife and also inhabited by neutral good deities like Mishra.
Hawk slumps a little with guilt when he realizes that he did in fact rig some of these stones to explode.
And she hands it back.
So one might say a soul stone.
No.
Would you know if it's harvested from the land or if it's got some other significance?
I believe it would be harvested from the land.
He straightens up a little bit with relief. Well, that explains a lot, actually. The owner of that misplaced factory, an artificer named Maxim Price, was trying to, I think at the behest of Idern himself, find a way to bind souls to machines. He was making automata out of the remains of people he had quote-unquote hired. Absolutely disgusting. I think perhaps he was trying to use those stones as a tether.
Suppose that would make sense.
Would indeed. Maybe it's in our best interest to try and return these to whence they came. I don't know if we'd have any use of binding a soul to something like that, or if, not to mention the moral quandaries that that brings up. Thank
Is
you
there
for
any more
enlightening us, then.
information that I can provide for you?
Well, we were hoping for access to the Temple of Mistra as well.
Not sure what you expect to find there, but I can provide access. And she reaches into her robe and pulls out a small symbol of Oghma and hands it to whoever takes it first.
Hawk will take it.
Says, merely present this at the doors to the temple, and they will grant you passage inside.
Is it dangerous in there? It seems that you visit rather often, but a warning of any dangers would be nice.
I visit rather often in an effort to understand what has happened to the visitors to the island, to the temple. Excuse me.
Well, if we find anything, I'm sure we'll let you know.
I appreciate it.
We are also here on a different sort of errand. So I do not know for how long we will be here, but if you need us, I'm sure you will be able to reach out to the Wild Roses.
I will certainly keep that in mind.
We're hunting the white dragon of the north, the northern inferno.
I see. That is a dangerous mission.
Certainly not one that we are taking up of our own will, I suppose is the best way to put it.
I see. Well, I would recommend seeking out potions to protect against fire.
Makes sense. Thank you for your... Thank you.
Cool. I wish you the best of luck.
Of course.
All right. Where do you guys head next?
Should we go check out that angel?
Is the angel in the quarter, or are they elsewhere?
They're in an inn in the quarter.
Ah,
That sounds
I
really
would certainly
interesting.
be interested.
Yeah.
Who knows? I might be able to rouse her.
An angel just popping out of God knows where.
the tapestry in turmoil. I wouldn't be surprised if she's running. They're running.
More likely running towards the danger than away from it. Most angels, or depending upon the type of angel, it might be a warrior or a messenger.
There. You do seem to be the epicenter. Which makes sense considering where the hole is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, Valkyria, you are a resident angel expert.
I'd say it's worth a shot, and then we'll tackle the Temple of Mystra. So I guess we ask for directions to said tavern.
All right. This is called the Angel Song Tavern. Making sure everything open. Okay. It looks pretty like a pretty standard tavern. But upon heaving open the solid wooden door and crossing the threshold, your senses are immediately overwhelmed by an array of sights, sounds, and smells. Tankards being vigorously returned to wooden tables by their well-quenched handlers, crude, questionably offensive stories, followed by choruses of drunken laughter, while the thick smell of stale-spilled beverages lingers in the air. This is a smaller building with 3 floors, one for the tavern and 2 for guest rooms. There is a bar on one side of the room, next to which is a magnificent statue about the size of a horse, depicting a winged woman with long flowing robes. statue seems to be made entirely of gold, and she looks like she is sleeping. She is resting on her side. And you can also see musical notes all along her arms as she rests.
This is the angel?
Seems to be. You can see the innkeeper seems to be a half dwarf. He is kind of running around trying to clean up spills as they happen, and like occasionally joking with some of the people at the tables.
Seems probably rude to wake them up.
Well, they've been asleep this entire time, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'd appreciate the chance to pray at least. And Aaron says, and he turns to Volk.
Sorry, what did Aaron say?
He says, well, I'd appreciate the chance to pray at least, and turns to Volk.
Might as well use a divine sense, since I got plenty of those.
I could try and remove curse and great restoration. See if that does anything. Not that they haven't probably already tried that, but
So when I do divine sense, I do indeed get confirmation that it is an angel.
You get a celestial energy from her, yeah.
As opposed to just a statue.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Ooh.
Is there any indication of what, for lack of a better term, court she belongs to?
No idea.
And from the notes, can I assume she's a member of the Heavenly Choir?
You would know that she is a fallen angel.
A fallen?
Song.
Okay. I have no clue where I got fallen.
She's a keeper of music.
can we take a look at the musical notes on her arm? I want to see.
Sure.
I don't know. Do any of us even play instruments?
Can I tell? Do I recognize the song? Or can I recognize the musical notes? I have some training.
Roll a performance check.
Ooh. Okay.
I would also like for anyone else with proficiency to roll a performance check.
I do not have proficiency in performance.
It's a dirty 20 for me.
Okay. Anyone else?
While Demir is looking at the musical notes and trying to figure them out, Lish will cast Lish will cast a greater restoration at 5th level.
There is no ailment of any kind to remove.
No coices.
No curses.
No one else has proficiency in performance?
Performance, no.
I don't even have proficiency in performance. I'm just a rich bitch.
Tobias does not have proficiency.
Okay.
I have an instrument, but not proficiency.
Damir, to you, the notes are a traditional Marhaban lullaby.
Huh. Interesting.
Could you play them?
Sure. Can I borrow that lyre of yours, Hawk?
Of course. And he'll hand it over.
Just gonna kind of strum it out.
You notice that you don't have to tune it too much. It seems like he's been trying to adjust it recently.
You've done a good job with it.
Thanks. Didn't get the chance to test it.
So Demir starts playing this this lovely little Marhaban lullaby. It's a little kid's song, the type of thing that a mother would sing to a child. And the rest of you are sort of listening to it as she is looking at the arms of this angel and playing the music off of it. And to the rest of you, the musical notes that Demir is playing don't seem to match up with what you're seeing on her arms.
So just to double check or clarify, we're all hearing the Marhaban lullaby, but the notes that are being played are not what we see.
That is correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
What she sees the notes as. The rest of you, it doesn't seem to match up.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we were like all hearing the same thing, just seeing different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Demir's kind of, sorry.
While it isn't a perfect match, Balk probably starts singing in her, or just lightly singing in her kind of weird old celestial dialect, a lullaby that her mom sung to her. And again, while it's not like a 1-for-1, it is making a nice harmony with the Marhabi music.
Demir is kind of singing it under her breath as she's playing it too. That kind of earworm of when you hear a song that you know and you just...
Aaron, when you examine the music on the angel's arms, to you, it looks like the sort of melody that one would sing in your tribe over a fire, just to celebrate lasting another day in the harsh lands from which you hail. Lish, when looking at the musical notes, you see the tune to some of the party music that one would play in a feast and a celebration after a good hunt in the Feywild.
Ooh.
So when you look at the music, you each see music that is comforting to you and familiar.
I guess we didn't play well enough for the angel.
Who's to say she can hear it? Maybe that's not what she needs to wake up.
And at this point, that the half-dwarf innkeeper, none of you notice sidle up that, oh, well, she doesn't need to wake up. Not really.
Doesn't need to.
No, she'll wake up when she's ready.
I suppose that's fair. We were just hoping for information on what's going on, well, up there.
Well, not sure how much help she'd be. She tends to communicate in her own way.
Like celestial or sign language or
Through music.
Music is a language.
I know, well, so is math, but you don't see me trying to mess with any of that.
So did he say maths or maps?
Math.
011001000.
I'd be happy to provide you with some information, if you like, since you all seem to be new in town.
Fairly new, yes. You've already heard a
Any
lot about this
information?
freezing curse that's been going around the quarter.
That's right. So surprised to see some new faces, but welcome to my tavern. You see, this lady here, and he gestures towards the angel statue. She has been sort of watching over me family for generations at this point. But not every day you get to see her in person. Not too long after all those Mistra type folks stopped moving, she had appeared, came here, and fell asleep on the bar. So I suspect that she's waiting for something personally.
What do you
Perhaps
think
she's waiting for Mistra to return?
Perhaps Mistra, perhaps she's waiting to pass on a message. Perhaps she's waiting to take up arms to defend the city against something unknown.
Just a question real quick. You said that she's been watching over your family for generations, but that she also... Huh?
That's right. I come from a long line of warlocks to this lady.
So did you... and you mentioned that she showed up just after the stuff started happening in the squatter here, which was, from what we've heard, it was started a few weeks ago. So was she like a patron that you worshipped, or?
In a way, it is my family's job, the uncles, to provide merriment and joy in hard times to the people of this city. And so, in thanks for that, she gave us a bit of magic. Nothing too special, but you know, it's helpful sometimes. The way it works is that when a child was ready to receive the blessing, she'd appear in the dreams, so we'd sing together, and then wake up and be able to cast a little bit of magic.
That's rather charming.
Sounds like a very chaotic way to wake up.
I don't know, dreams are dreams. Don't mind singing.
It's all fun and games until the child accidentally eldritch blasts a hole in the wall.
So, were y'all looking for a place to drink or a place to sleep?
Or are you just doing a little bit of sightseeing?
Let the mirror speak.
Well, I would say we are certainly sightseeing.
Well, very well. You're welcome to pray next to her if you so choose. Lots of folks have been very interested in doing that lately.
I can imagine it. I saw a bunch of priests out and about, but I'm sure that there are just civilians who have all been caught up in this.
Oh, that's how most of the folks here are. As I said, the lady commands us to bring merriment in dark times, and that is what I'm going to do. Perhaps maybe she didn't feel like I was doing a good enough job and decided to come and see for herself.
Either that or she felt it was important enough that you get back up.
How have the spirits around here been prior to her showing up, I suppose?
Well, I mean, people are anxious. They're not happy about the situation, especially those that want access to Mistra but can't have it. So, as I said, I'll do my best to keep the people happy and keep the ale flowing.
Does seem to be quite a party in here.
Well, it's nice to help people forget the troubles every now and then.
Is it difficult to get new materials from outside the city?
It can be sometimes, but you know, we do our best to order more things, and the guards have been super helpful at the various priest assistants. We don't want people to get upset, more upset than they already are, of course.
Well, it's a good thing. It seems the city has it under control.
A willing quarantine's always better than an enforced quarantine.
They're certainly trying. It's lucky that the curse, the disease hasn't spread more than it has. We're all trying to be super careful though.
Understandably.
Makes sense. Well, unless Demir looks at Valkyria and Aaron, unless one of you two has a particular idea to commune with the angel.
Nothing beyond what we've already tried comes to mind. Unless if you have a suggestion, Master Dwarf.
You can call me Nordak Angskuld.
Nordak.
My rituals are to look inwards and carry off that connection. I could maybe officiate one for Dak if you're interested, I suppose. I don't know if it's quite the same thing or not.
If she appears in people's dreams, what happens if someone falls asleep on her?
I wouldn't recommend trying to sleep with a statue, ma'am.
Not sleep with her. I mean, on top of her. She's a giant piece of gold.
I don't imagine it would be terribly comfortable, given that she's got wings in the way, and also she's on top of the bar, so you'd probably fall off of her as soon as you rolled over in your wrist.
I don't
Just
think
a
sleeping on the bar
suggestion.
floor is an amazing idea either.
If you yourself wanted to talk to her, I do know rituals that may be able to access the kind of connection you have.
Or
But
you're a warlock as well.
no, but I do, and Aaron will just like step out a little, so I'll just separates off of his skin slightly, and then he'll step back. I do have my own ancient family connections that I that I can access.
I see. Honestly, I think it's for the best if we just let her rest for now. She knows what to do when she needs to. She'll know when the time comes.
Aaron will nod and say, I'm sure she will.
Demira is just kind of like, I am a warlock, though, if you were curious.
Can
Well,
sorry.
Since you seem so interested.
Is your family do you have a family line of that as well?
I suppose you could say it, although not by birth.
He looks a little confused, but kind of nod. Well, all right.
Aaron taps his ear and sends a quick message over to Demir. So if you combine the two of us, then you basically have this guy.
Okay. Well,
Can I insight check this guy and see if he actually he seems to have a bit of a financial gain to keeping this angel on his bar for prayers. I'm kind of want to suss out if he's sincere about his reasons for keeping her asleep.
roll an insight check.
Mm-hmm. 16.
16. He seems like he's being pretty honest. I mean, he is not a very powerful warlock, but he is a warlock nonetheless. He is being honest about a family, for lack of a better descriptor, tradition of having a pact with this angel. And he was very surprised when she just showed up one day, fell asleep on her bar, and turned into a statue. He's like, well, this may as well happen.
Okay.
Who am I to question my benefactor?
Yeah, I mean, this patron has been my mom's patron and my grandfather's patron and all the way back for generations. Sure.
Now she's crashing in my establishment.
If what she wants to do now is sleep on my bar, I guess I will make drinks around her.
Weird wine aunt.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. The one I speak British instead of Scottish. Oops. The feathers of the wings make a great spoon holder.
I mean, I just try not to bother her too much.
Is she associated with a deity, or is she just there?
Free range.
Free range angel.
I mean,
she grass-fed free range angel, or is she antibiotic?
To my knowledge, she tends to go where she pleases, but she has been associated within my family history with Lyra.
Yeah, I suppose makes sense.
I mean, she's provided great blessings to our family, even if I'm not like a super religious type. So I appreciate her for who she is and what she does.
No finer compliment.
Well,
Does she
Anything
have
else?
a name? I'm
well,
sorry.
it has been a very interesting prayer session.
And you're always welcome to come back and continue to pray again if you so choose, or prayer over a glass of mead. Whatever you prefer.
Well, depending upon how things go.
I appreciate you all dropping by.
Depending upon sorry. Depending upon how things go, we might take you up on that offer, particularly of mead.
We shall see about that. Well, where is our next stop, I suppose? Should we sleep for the night? No, temple, yes.
It's still like, what?
It's still like the
3?
afternoon-ish.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
All right. To the temple.
All right. So, as you guys start to make your way towards the Temple of Mistra, that is where we'll call session for the day.
Woo! Lots of information today.
So much information.
I'd say we made a lot of progress. Yeah, got more info about the dragon. We got a much narrower location for the Phoenix, and we finally figured out what those freaking rocks were.
We finally figured out what those freaking rocks are.
Woo!
We
A
also had
mystery that's been
confirmations about like Mistra temples and stuff, and that there's another occurrence of that giant fuchsia cat appearing.
Yeah. That alone is really interesting. I really want to look into that when we get to the temple.
At least we know that it's not like something that we're just missing, that like even the people who know shit have no idea what it is. So like that is in and of itself kind of revealing.
Yeah.
We also know about them cult in them hills.
The Hills Have Eyes cult.
I got some Bob Yog lore too.
Boob yogurt.
Yeah.
Yogurt.
Anyway, thanks for playing, guys. Super fun as always.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
See you guys around.
Bye.
Bye.